I've been in coffee for 5 years and 3 days.
Oh wow, very accurate.
Yeah.
Cool. So did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did chemistry at the start. So I was just about to graduate doing applied chemistry at UCS.
Cool.
And I was managing a bakery and they had a coffee machine, obviously. They sold a little bit of coffee. And the rep asked me some chemistry questions and I knew more than the rep. So then I started at a company and roasted for 3 years. And then I left and had a break and then I started my company about a year ago. So I set out just to Origins and to buy pretty much the best greens that I could and to work legitimately direct with producers instead of sort of just pretending
Sure.
like a lot of people.
Yeah.
So the stuff I get, if I work with a producer, I'll get a lot of their stuff. So
Yeah,
I'll get
yeah.
sort of their naturals, their washed, a few varietals, a few screen sizes.
Yeah.
And yeah, I pay their bank account and then I pay people to sort of bring it in.
Yeah.
Usually the bigger guys, I'll buy something and try and ship it with, and share it in a container with them. And
Yeah.
But-
So what is the most attractive thing to you for roasting?
I get bored if I do the same coffee too many times.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
to me, the attractive thing is sort of profiling coffee.
Sure.
For each coffee I get, I only do one roast of it, as in
Yeah.
one roast level.
Yeah.
So I don't do espresso and filter.
Yeah.
Some of them are good for espresso, some are good for naturals, just finding that out. Once I've dialed in a coffee, roasting wise, it's just
Yeah.
boring.
Yeah,
And I
right.
try and sell out as quick as I can of it because
Okay, true.
I'm bored and I want to go to the next one.
Yeah, lots of
which
people
is
are
good.
telling me like profiling, like, you know, the roasting curves will be the most interesting part.
Yeah.
And if it's just a mechanical, just like, repeat the same work is actually is quite boring. So have you met the most difficult things so far? And then have you ever compromised anything?
Because I know the producers, like 90% of, unless I run out of coffee, I buy
Yeah.
stuff straight from producers.
Yeah.
So I don't really like doing the whole point system. I just sort of cut for screen size and defects.
Okay. Right.
So some of my coffee costs $30, some of it costs $7
Okay.
which is, I just pay what they ask.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
So what? How?
So I bought some difficult coffees, yeah. And then that happens. Usually naturals are the difficult ones.
Yeah.
Because washed, when you process washed, you've got extra sorting, you've got extra, like with flotation tanks and stuff, that
Yeah.
sort of tends to sort of homogenize it, which makes it easier to roast. With naturals, you've got a whole bunch of different fermentation. So it's really unstandardized, and if that happens, generally it's roasted dark or cold or milk origin.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So I buy it anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
Which
more
is cool.
like a character of roasters. Like I'm thinking roasters or especially coffee professionals working in this industry should have like very innovative, independent and kind of engagement, like to you know try different things and challenge them. Sometimes it could be risky, but you never know.
Yeah.
Probably can give some really good results that you would
Yeah.
never expected.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So how will you describe your roasting style?
I go as light and as quick as I can that the beans let me. So really good beans, let's say you have like really well processed Kenyans,
Yeah.
you can roast that in 6 minutes, really light.
From the beginning to the end.
Yes.
6 minutes.
Yeah.
Sharp.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really light.
Yeah, and light. And because they're all the same, if you did that for something like let's say a natural Rwandan, oh, it's not a good example, like a natural Sumatran,
Yeah.
you're going to get a lot of variation in how they take heat. So you're going to get burnt ones and you also, like overdeveloped ones, you're also going to get really undeveloped ones.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of complexity, as they call it.
Yeah, right.
So yeah.
Interesting. So, from your perspective, do you think in Sydney coffee and Melbourne coffee has some differences, or are they pretty similarities?
There's massive. So Sydney doesn't.
Yeah.
I find Sydney's more, and this is what I've been told by a lot of people, more the roasters are friendlier to each other. Like I'll have dinner with the other roasters.
Okay. right. Fair enough.
And I mean, you've got other roasters currently using my equipment that I've too much of. Like there's a color reader that's down the road
Yeah.
at another roastery because it's
Yeah.
we're still in a very small niche
Yeah.
that we're all very friendly and there's big enough of a market.
Yeah.
In Melbourne, there's not.
Yeah.
They also don't like omni roasting. They prefer darker for espresso and lighter for filter. Yeah.
So how do you look on the coffee supply chain from the origins? Do you think the price of the coffee in specialty grade need to be transparent?
Yeah, it does. I think there's a lot of. I mean, if you talk to producers, the perception in Australia with who's ethical and who's not is different.
Yeah.
You have a lot of people who have really exorbitant export margins, and that they have, let's say, 4 grades of quality, and they're all very different prices, but the producer's earning maybe 10% difference
Exactly.
premium.
Yeah.
Yeah, which about 87 point plus coffee, they're only earning 50 cents above. If you look at the sort of successful, I think with any startup that you're bootstrapping, if you look at the successful model, if you try and copy them, by the time you actually reach that, you're out of date, you know, because it takes a few years. And I think looking ahead to what roasters are doing, and I think you've got a lot of blockchain technology going into this now, well, just technology in general, that what I'm doing, I think in 3 years' time, I'm counting on will be a lot bigger.
What is your favorite roasting machine?
Probably a P5.
Big buy.
P5, yeah, for about 5 kilos.
Yeah, cool.
They're fun. I think it's more about the probes and the setup. Roasting machines aren't really. There's a lot of them, even with the same model, that are very different. You know, the same line when they get off the conveyor belt, they're all modified. So
Yeah.
we've got a lot of. Say, if you were to pick a brand and have 2 same models side by side, they're very different to roast on.
Okay.
Um,
So, do you still remember your first batch of coffee? How did it taste like?
Yeah. I think I did decaf first. We used to train on decaf for miles. Yeah.
I think lots of roasteries start with the decaf,
Yeah.
the blend and single like that, right?
Yeah, I actually like decaf because if you can roast it well, it's nice with milk, obviously,
Yeah.
not black.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I remember that. It was disgusting because we didn't buy very good decaf.
I think everyone start with that flavor.
Yeah.
And really deep in memory. When you get the greens, what will you check first?
Uniformity,
Sorry?
uniformity,
Uniformity, yeah.
moisture and density to an extent. But uniformity when you sample roasting is the most important, to be
Sure.
honest. And it's
Sure.
underlooked, especially for my style because it's
Yeah.
light. If it's not uniform, then you're going to
Yeah.
get the vegetal flavors. It's like cooking a bunch of steaks in the same pan. If they're all different sizes, you're going to get different cooks. You know, if they're all the same size, they cook evenly.
During the roasting process, right?
Yeah.
Which stage will be paid more attention to?
Oh, just going into and just after first crack. Really, the what's known as the drying phase.
Yeah.
The start is just about not screwing it up. So
Yeah.
just about not putting too much heat in.
Yeah.
And if you go too slow, then you're going to lose acidity at the back end because you're not going fast enough. So there's a lot of different schools. They'll say you need 25% development, you need
Yeah.
different things. To be honest, I just go end of first crack all the time. Maybe
That's
like
most people
10%. Yeah, very Nordic. But to me, just before first crack, the rate that I go in is more important than actually, you know, developing it later.
Is Kenyan kind of the most lightest coffee you've roasted ever
Yeah,
so
I love
far?
Kenyans.
Yeah.
I bought like 12
I
Kenyans
heard
this
about
year.
it, some
Oh,
story
yeah, you were
about
there.
it.
You were there.
Yeah, we were
when-
there. Me
when
and Dan
that
were the
auction.
MTC,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it got a whole
The
lot.
Sucafina.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Amazing.
Kenyan and Ecuadorian coffee are my favourites.
Yeah.
It was up to me, I just had them.
Yeah.
But they're actually quite close in their season.
Right.
So I bought heaps so I can delay it. I've got a natural, I've got same producer.
Yeah, we're gonna
different-
try it. So
Yeah.
I can't wait for it. So
Yeah,
excited.
yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
Oh, good. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, man. Thank you.